We are today with Chris Pritchen that works with Toyota, and we're going to talk about new technologies and the Toyota Mirai, which is a hydrogen car. Mr. Pritchen, could you tell us about the reason why Toyota decided to go hydrogen?
Yeah, there's a few different reasons. We, first of all, are definitely not anti-battery technology. We have the Prius, first one to mass market. It sold over 7 million Prius on the Prius lineup. So we're definitely very into battery technology. We had a battery SUV, but I think what Toyota feels is that with the hydrogen car, we're able to go further, we're able to fill up faster, and at a much lower price. So what I think that they find is the limitation is just the battery chemistry technology, getting a nice long range with a nice quick charge time, and then again at an affordable price. This fills up in 3 to 5 minutes, goes 300 miles, and is a much lower price tag than a comparable range electric car.
Okay. You were talking about price. How much is this going to sell in California when it's out on the market this year?
Right. Coming out later this fall in California, it's going to be $57,500. It's also going to qualify for quite a bit of tax credits, $5,000 from the state of California. We're hoping and expecting, though it's not yet official, $7,500 from the federal government. Okay. And Toyota will pay for your hydrogen fuel for 3 years. Okay. So that ameliorates a lot of that cost.
Okay. You were saying that this is not a full hydrogen, it's a hybrid hydrogen.
Well, the only fuel is hydrogen, but yes, it is a hydrogen hybrid, so it's an electric drive. In fact, it is the exact same hybrid synergy drive that we use in the Prius and the Camry hybrid and all those guys. But instead of a gasoline combustion engine, there's no gasoline, no combustion whatsoever. We put in the hydrogen fuel cell stack instead.
But you have an electric engine like the Prius.
Electric motor just like the Prius, exactly.
Okay. We were discussing before about the fact that some car companies like BMW has gone from hydrogen to electric cars. So is that because Toyota feels that the infrastructure for hydrogen are going to be there faster or in a better way than electric infrastructures?
Well, I don't know about faster. I think the hydrogen structure is obviously, infrastructure is behind where the electric infrastructure is right now. But that being said, not having to change your driving habits, being able to fill up in 3 to 5 minutes and get on your way for a 300-mile tank on a tank of hydrogen, I think is going to appeal to more people in the short term. And then hydrogen, of course, has ridiculous long-term applications as well. But in the short term, we're not having to wait to charge it up, being able to go 300 miles just like you would in a normal car today, I think is going to appeal to people. And it's also just as clean, zero emissions as a full battery car.
You've been challenged yesterday by Chevy with the Chevy Bolt. It's supposed to be on the market soon for $30,000. Get a car with 200-mile range. So obviously it is a challenge for Toyota. And I wanted to talk a bit about the Prius family.
Okay.
Prius has been selling like hotcakes.
Sure.
But some people feel that Prius family is lagging behind the Chevy Volt, for instance. Is there anything to expect from Toyota and the Prius family this year?
Well, nothing official that I can say. The Prius is due for a redesign, so we might see something this year that different looking Prius, maybe a higher gas mileage number, hopefully. Nothing official, but yeah, I think something's coming pretty soon. That being said, the Volt is obviously a different kind of beast. The Volt is wanting to be an electric car as long as possible, and then has a generator motor. The Prius is not trying to be an electric car. It's a hybrid. It's still dependent on gasoline. We do have the plug-in Prius, which has a much shorter range, but we don't sell it to everybody. We sell it to those who have a short commute, can plug in quickly, and has a super fast charge time comparatively to what you get out of the Volt or the Leaf or a Tesla. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Okay. Back to the hydrogen.
Yeah.
We're talking about infrastructure. I mean, you can't buy this car basically if you're outside of California, because there are no such infrastructures in Quebec, for instance, where I come from. And we have a lot of infrastructure, and even California, regarding electric cars. There's that. There's also the fact that 99% of hydrogen right now is being produced with natural gas, which doesn't make it as clean as it could be. What do you have to say about it?
Again, I like the way that you put it. It's not as clean as it could be. There are definitely cleaner ways to go. Right now, they're extremely expensive until we really get the ball rolling producing hydrogen. But that being said, it's much cleaner than gas, than oil and and gasoline, coal and oil. So it's definitely a huge step forward to get onto hydrogen. As far as the infrastructure goes, you're definitely right. The infrastructure is our biggest hurdle right now. In California, we're going to have 20 stations by the time the car comes out, almost 50 by the end of next year, 2016, and then well over 100 by the year 2020 rolls around is the plan. Air Liquide from France is building some in the Northeast as well, so we're already spreading up that way. I can't speak to Canada quite yet, but I think I see it coming as, and I think Toyota does too, as a snowball effect. The more that this catches on, the more people get into it, the more they realize this is a truly viable option for not just cars, not just automotive, but society in general. Hydrogen power could be the wave of the future, the fuel for the next 100 years, the same way gasoline was the past 100. I think it'll snowball, and that infrastructure will build faster and faster. Prices will go down, prices of the cars, prices of the hydrogen gas. They see it as the way that we're going.
Well, yeah. There are some people that are not very big fans of oil companies and gas stations.
Sure.
So is it expected to get the hydrogen stations at the same place where the gas stations are, or are people going to be able to charge a hydrogen car at home like they are able to charge an electric car at home?
Yeah, it's a good question. Right now, most of the hydrogen pumps are going into existing gas stations, and I think that's probably partially because they are also helping with the funding, but also I think that appeals to people because you don't change your driving habits. Oh, I go to the Shell station, I go to the Chevron station with my hydrogen car and I can fill up there. That being said, there are also some standalone stations. There are some smaller companies that have bid to build some standalone stations, and those are coming. And again, those will come more and more as the hydrogen infrastructure expands. As far as home fueling, that's a little bit of a different beast. I think it's definitely a possibility. Toyota has talked about looking into it. Then you run into some regulations producing your own combustible material. Yeah. That will be a hurdle, but people have propane tanks at home, that kind of thing. So it's a possibility. But if we can just get a more robust infrastructure that you can just drive down to, a block or two, and there's the Shell station with a hydrogen pump, I think that'll be just as good for folks and so much cleaner.
Yeah, but some people might see it as a way for the oil companies to make sure that people stay dependent on them.
Well, you do have to get your hydrogen somewhere, and if they will get off the big oil and go to the hydrogen, I am okay with that.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for the interview.
Sure.